Oh, I just recorded this whole video, but when I hit the record button, I hit it twice. So my recording was just a second long. And now I have to do it all again. Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. Welcome back to Borderlands 3. As I've mentioned, I've already tried to record this video once. And I thought it was going great, but because, you know, I've already done a lot of this, you guys are gonna kind of get the abridged version here. Maybe you prefer this format a little bit more, maybe you don't. I don't know, let me know down in the comments. What we're gonna do today is a little weird on top of the weird that I just mentioned, because we are going to be talking about a boss that doesn't actually drop any boss items. We are talking about Captain Trant. Now, a lot of game journalist websites, let's put it that way, have been reporting that Captain Trant is a way of farming this particular weapon that we have here today, the Speedloadn Hellwalker. And it's true. He is a way of farming this gun, but so is every other enemy in the game, because this is a world drop. I did some testing here fighting this dude, and it appears as though he doesn't actually have any unique weapon drops on his own. And I'm basing that off of farming that I've done on my own. I farmed him for about half an hour just to make sure. And we're basing that off of the spreadsheet master loot list that we've been using as a reference for this series the entire way so far. So Captain Trant is a boss. He is on Athena. He is located right at the end of the map here. You start over on this side, just walk your way through these narrow passages, take a right when you get to this giant bridge, and follow that all the way to the end. You can farm him, and when you have a proper build set up for him, he dies pretty fast. He's really not that hard of an enemy at all. Maybe I could swap my element over to electricity. We could try to get through a shield. So I'm not trying to discourage you from coming over and farming this guy. What I am trying to discourage you from is coming over and farming this guy and expecting to get one very specific item, because he just... the fucking guy hiding from me. He just drops any item that can be found maybe he has a limited list, but he just drops world drops. That's what he does. He doesn't drop any Captain Trant specific gear. Have I made my point perfectly clear yet? I hope I have. My God, this is not the optimal way of killing him. The weapon we're looking at today is the Speedloadn Hellwalker. It does 533 times 10 damage. It has an accuracy of 54%, a handling of 51%, reload time of just 1 second, a fire rate of 420, blaze it, magazine size of 2. It does have some unique text that says, "So, my demons, your time has come." I don't actually know what that's a reference to. As far as the weapon damage, the critical hit damage, and the reload speed, that appears to be the same on all of these. I believe this is my 4th Speedloadn Hellwalker that I've acquired. And I want to just stress, once again, that this boss can drop from anywhere. This is a world drop. I've gotten more of these off other bosses than I have off of the dude we just fought and failed miserably at killing. But he does drop one. The one I have equipped, I did farm from this boss before starting this recording. So just for 100% clarity's sake, you can get this anywhere. Don't feel like you have to get it here. Now, one unique thing about this is I do believe they all drop anointed as well. Like I said, all of mine have been identical so far. So the big thing about this gun is on action, skills, and weapon status effect damage and chance are increased by 75% for a short. Oh, another thing that this weapon does before I forget, you may have noticed already, but anytime you pull the trigger, it does play a little guitar sound. So, I mean, that's cool. We should also point out that it is a Jacob's weapon, and Jacob's weapons normally don't have any elemental affiliation whatsoever. Normally, Jacob's weapons are pure, raw damage. You point your gun at them, you pull the trigger, and it just deals that damage. You don't have to worry about ignite chances or damage over time or anything like that. So, it is a pretty unique gun, all things considered. So in my head, I thought about ways that we could increase the effectiveness of this with our siren and try to make it even better. That weapon effect damage means we're going to be igniting targets, right? That's what we're trying to do. So if we can boost our elemental damage a little bit, I thought that would be pretty good. So we went ahead and put 15 points into this tree. Maybe that was a little bit overkill. I would probably reel this back a little bit. But we did get anima for status effect damage increased by 20% and status effect duration increased by 100%. We also have elemental damage as well as shock damage increased. We're not really doing any shock damage, although I guess we could. Let's not worry about that right now. And whenever we apply a status effect to an enemy, it has a chance to spread. I thought, once again, that would kind of just help the usability of this weapon a little bit. We went heavy into reload speed because, of course, you can only pull the trigger one time. You want to be able to pull that trigger again as fast as possible. So really maxed out on reload speed here. We also picked up accuracy and critical damage percent increases, as well as action skill cooldown, and Amara gains increased gun damage. This effect is increased after she activates her action skill for a few seconds. So action skill activation, action skill activation, action skill activation, and there's action skill activation tied to the gun. So this build is built around the idea of jumping in with your action skill, dealing a bunch of damage, and empowering your gun as much as possible for a few seconds, and hopefully getting enough cooldown reduction to be able to jump right in and do it again. Now, the reason I said I would probably take some points out from this tree is simply because you don't have the defense from the green tree to really keep you alive, especially on later mayhem. So this could be optimized. I just threw this together really, really fast. Let's see how it works. So my philosophy with this gun is that it's mostly going to be used for farming bosses. It just doesn't quite have the utility to make it work out in the open world as your primary weapon. At least that's my opinion of it. Feel free to disagree down in the comments. This is just me and my testing. I'm more than happy to hear if you guys think I did it right or wrong. That is totally okay. The more discussion we have about these guns, the more we're going to learn about these guns. You know what I'm saying? But because of its limited fire rate and things, I don't really think of this weapon as one that I'm going to use a ton in the open world. So by empowering our shots after we jump in and trying to completely focus a boss down as fast as possible, it gives it a very specialized use, but I think it's also a pretty valuable use for the weapon as well. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, that's the bridge that leads back to the boss that allegedly drops this weapon. I mean, he does drop the weapon. I've already been over this. But if we go this way, there is a hunting target for 0. It's just a beast, and originally when I learned about this weapon, it was from a clip that I saw on Reddit of a guy one-shotting this boss as a siren. So this is on Mayhem 1, so, I mean, that was pretty fast, right? That's not bad for Mayhem 1. Mayhem 1's okay. Mayhem 1's not hard. But that killed that boss pretty quick. Now, if we actually use the anointed effect, you could see things go a little bit better. I mean, that already went great. You know, this actually used to be one of the best ways to farm legendaries. They nerfed it a little bit. So if we just wait for some bugs to spawn around this guy, then jump in, we can basically kill him in 2 shots. If I had decided to max out this talent right here, Samsara, and then we wait for the ads to spawn, you could pretty consistently kill this guy in 1 shot. Yes, even on Mayhem 3. It is pretty good. Now, when I saw this, I was like, great, this gun must be awesome. I want to use it. But it just has such a limited scope in my head that it's really not worth it in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it does kill this boss very, very quickly, even on the hardest difficulty of the game. You can optimize the build a little bit more if you want to take a look at our artifacts. So I believe I have increased elements. No, I still have melee lifesteal, so we could even do, yeah, we could do a shit ton more than what we're doing right now. But you could optimize this further with things like cooldown reduction for your action ability. That can also come on this gear. It can make it very, very strong, and it can pretty much cause you to be able to jump around with your ultimate quite a lot more, proccing all of these effects that we spec'd our talent build for. That requires a little bit more itemization and a little bit more know-how than just coming in here and pulling the trigger twice, though. You get what I mean? So this can be refined more. The talent build can be refined more. This is not a fully min-max look at this weapon, but it does give you a decent idea of situations that it excels in, namely killing bosses very, very quickly if you jump it. Like, it just, time to kill is so small in this. Now, this is just a mini boss. This is nothing too crazy. A lot of classes are going to be able to kill this guy very quickly as well. But I have been using this to farm the Grave Ward, and I guess I could show you that too, because I feel like it works pretty well on that fight as well. So this is a boss that we have farmed a lot in our time on stream. We've had days dedicated just to killing this guy because he drops a lot of stuff. A lot of world drop loot can come from this guy, but he also had some melee-centric stuff that he could drop as well. So whatever we're using here doesn't really matter. We're just trying to deal some damage to him until the next part of the fight starts. As you can see, our damage isn't too fantastic with this setup right now, but as he's going for this attack, we're just going to use our little jump, and that's pretty hefty chunks of the boss's health right there. That's not bad at all. This is actually the weapon that gives me my personal fastest clear time on this guy, although I know Moe's and some other characters can kill him quite quickly. I know that's a thing. With my melee build versus this guy, my kill time is fucking abysmal because he doesn't actually deal enough damage to me to remove my shield in the first place, which increases your power as a melee character. So we're doing pretty big chunks here. Again, this is on Mayhem 1. You can judge accordingly whether or not you think this is good. I'm not here to prove that I'm good at this game. I'm just here to try to show off the weapon, you know what I mean? This boss gives you plenty of opportunities to actually just get in there and deal lots of damage. He's at about a third health right now. He's going to be lifting the platform up one more time. We can go ahead and try to just use this while we have a little bit of time. His weak spots are pretty readily available as well. That certainly helps with killing this guy. Yeah, that's some big damage right there. I think anytime he has his arm out like that, though, like a lot of classes with a lot of different guns can deal that kind of damage. So, does this gun have a purpose? Yeah. And I think it could be a really cool playstyle if you fully optimize for it. Obviously, we are not fully optimized for it right now. See green text for description. See red text for description. Whoa, that's a lot of elemental damage. Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at that soon. So that's the Hellwalker and my take on the Hellwalker. If you get enough cooldown reduction, I think it could be fun. As it is baseline, I think it's a little too hard to make a build around unless you're trying to make flashy looking Reddit post to show how good you are at your Siren one-shotting that boss over there. Let me know if you disagree, though. If you think this is a gun that could be used a little bit easier, if you could build your class around this a little bit easier, maybe that would be worth knowing, too. For a Siren, I think it's just a little bit too hard. Huh. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We will be taking a look at the next boss through the Borderlands campaign next. And hopefully he has a weapon, or she has a weapon, that is actually tied to that boss. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.